Hi everyone, I'm Juliane Nowe, and you're listening to the LadyNowe Show, where I feature conscious conversations about health, life, love, cannabis, yoga, spirituality, women's empowerment, and so much more. I believe a holistic life starts from the inside and is reflected like a movie projector out into your outside world. This is also a space where it's like having your best friend answer all your questions while sharing her best insights all in one. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you want more free content, mentoring options, or just to reach out and say hi, head to my website at LadyNowe.com.
So I've clicked record because me and Carolyn are having the best conversations as per usual, and we wanted to record them so we can eventually maybe also share them as well, our insights and wisdom. So earlier we were talking about, I wanted to bring this topic back up, about creativity and how that's such a source for releasing things, but also provides such a good focus for people. So I was wondering, Carolyn, if you could talk about that again, because I loved your explanation about those things, personally experiencing it, but then also being able to describe it for others.
I definitely think creativity is just, it's a pathway to shifting focus, especially when, you are involved in kind of trauma, or if you've ever lived an experience of PTSD, you oftentimes are so stuck in that experience and that opportunity to take your focus and move it to something creative, whether, it's jewelry making, clothing, painting, whatever. You're channeling that energy into something that's positive, and it's giving you an outlet to let go of some of that residual negativity that's built up over time.
I love that explanation. Earlier, when we first arrived at your house, you showed me your drum.
Yes.
What is it called, and how did you find it? How was it brought to your life?
So it's called a hang drum, and it's basically a metal drum that is made from recycled propane tanks. And yeah, so they add a magnet, and there's like 9 different sounds that it makes. You can use either these like I don't know what they're called, like I want to say tongs, but that's not the right word.
No, I know what you mean. I'm like drumsticks.
Right.
Like, I don't know what the word was, but it was a good word that they were actually called.
Yeah.
We'll Google it.
Or you can play it with your hands. And I've seen some people playing with their hands and making beautiful music out of it on YouTube. And I was like, I want one of those. I feel like, I've always wanted to learn the drums, and I want to be creative, and I love music. So this is kind of an opportunity to utilize, my creativity and shift my focus again, yet to something different.
Yes.
I love being creative.
Oh, tell us all the things that you do that are creative, because we were talking about how you'll listen to podcasts or people who are very successful, and they'll share what works for them, and they'll always say, like, just focus on one thing, or just focus your energy on this thing. And how I was struggling with, like, well, I want to do like 7 things, so maybe I should just be okay with that, because I kind of like the transition of focus, and I can let one thing go and then come back to it. So yeah, tell us all the things that you do the same with.
So super interesting. I actually had this conversation with my boss, and he is this exact same way. He has this need to understand how all different things work, and he wants to not necessarily be a master at anything, but experience everything. And I thought, wow, that is beautiful. A master at nothing, but experience everything, right? Because experience is what makes you so unique, and you can share that experience with other people and learn from those things. And everything that you learn that's a new avenue brings you something different. You know, you get that childish kind of new experience and the shiny new car, or, you know, like it's all that new, that essence of not understanding anything when you first get into it.
That's so interesting. I've never heard of that. And this is something I want to comment on, because there's so many people that are like the master class or the master of whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about the master word, but maybe that's why. Because it's like, maybe you just need to be more of like an experienced person at something, and you're more of like a mentor or guide than a master. So I think you're always learning.
Right.
So that's interesting way to put those words.
Yeah, because really, I mean, there is not a human being on this planet that can say they're a master at life.
No, oh my gosh.
Right?
They
Like,
wouldn't
we all-
live on the
No.
planet.
No.
You'd be like, bye, you're gone now because you know too much and you're like enlightened. So
Right.
you wouldn't live here.
So, you know, why do we allow ourselves to only experience or do one thing for the rest of our lives? You know, we're only meant to do this, and so if I'm only meant to do this, I might as well fucking kick ass while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Totally.
Sure. But you can do that while doing multiple things. You don't have to just choose one avenue to express yourself. Because, let's be honest, there's so many people in this world, and there's always somebody better. There's always somebody better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's kind of humbling, actually.
yeah, you recognize that you're not perfect, nor should you be,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always going to be somebody better at something.
Mm-hmm.
So why not live and really experience everything there is? And if you do decide to choose one thing, great. If that's what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's not going to work for everybody to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
No.
Some people need that focus of one thing.
There was a quote from A Course in Miracles, and I'm only a few pages in, and I feel like this will probably be a lifetime read for me because it's so big. But one of the quotes that I love in there that sticks with me, like as a yoga teacher or just an educator of like cannabis or life or anything, as are you, I just think of this quote. It says, "What you teach is always teaching you."
It's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you can be a teacher, but you're also like always a student.
Always a student.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, like, although we do multiple things, right? Although we shift our focus a lot to different things,
Mm-hmm.
we are completely focused on one thing at a time. It's not that we're here, there, here, there, here, there.
Yes.
You know, you're really giving your full attention to that one thing, and then you're shifting to another, right? And it's okay to shift and flow fluidly like a river, right? You don't have to be stagnant. You can be if you choose to be, but you can move. You don't have to be one way,
Yes.
right?
So in yoga, like we try to, when we create a flow class or we're a student in the class, you know, like that transition from each pose is really like thought out or felt. In life, how would you recommend if people are trying to transition, whether it's just like making supper to doing this or job transition? Like, how would you recommend people flow through transition easier? And the second part of the question is, how would you recommend people like shift their focus back to maybe something that's like positive or creative that feels good when they've kind of lost that?
So first part of the question, shifting through transition. focus on the end goal.
I love that.
Because the end goal is always changing. And the end goal will be exactly what it needs to be as long as you give your full attention to the transition itself.
Wow. I love that. Awesome. And then the second part of the question was, what would you recommend for people when they lose the focus, whether it's like you're kind of losing the feeling of being aligned with your purpose or with the universe, and you just are kind of like blah or stuck or off track? How would you recommend coming back to focus on what that creative feel good in alignment feeling is?
Get into your body. Really get connected to yourself, to the feeling of being standing on the earth. Whether that's through just breath, whether it's through walking in nature, barefoot, dancing, whatever it is that makes you feel alive in your body, do that. And then look at your path again. See where you are and really look, say, okay, I'm standing here on the earth. This is where I am in my path, and it's okay. Right? It doesn't have to be anything different than what it is.
Oh, I like that so much. I always find, because I actually made a joke yesterday to one of my friends. She was like, yeah, I'm just really trying to learn how to live in the now more. And I'm like, well, my last name is Now, and I still haven't even figured it out. So I'm like, I don't even know what my own last name means. So I don't know how much of a help I am. But as a teacher, and as someone that we do practice trying to live in the now, and where we are in such a world where everyone's like, you're almost condemning yourself because you live in the past and the darkness there, but then are also always thinking so far ahead that it's hard to just be in the moment. So what do you do when you feel like you just need to ground, get back into your body, and almost in that in-between world of past and present, of just being in the present?
Yeah, for me it's meditation. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, especially because meditation can be extremely difficult when you're not in your body or in the moment. But I find just giving myself some quiet space helps to, bring that feeling back of you're here. This is your path. You need to be here for a reason, right? You're going to learn what you need to learn. That's why you're here. All the other distractions kind of melt away, and that just clarifies everything for me.
I love that. For someone that is new to meditation, what would be the easiest one to try, or just something you'd recommend for a beginner that's heard of meditation, I don't really know where to start, I don't really know, do I close my eyes, do I not, do I need to sit, do I lay down, do I need to say a mantra? If someone's just new and is looking to try something, even if it's just for 5 minutes, what would you say?
I really recommend, there's an app now, it's called Headspace.
Ooh, yes, I've heard of this.
It's really amazing, especially for people who have never ever done meditation, because it kind of, you have somebody who's talking to you and kind of giving you cues to initiate what you should be doing, what you should be thinking about, that it's okay to have thoughts that enter your mind. We don't try to turn off our brains in meditation. That's not the purpose.
Thank you for also saying that, because I say that too, and I'm like, no one ever says this to people.
Right. The purpose is not to not think.
Yes.
That's not the purpose. The purpose is to find a focus.
Yes.
Like everything, focus is what kind of drives us, right? It gives us a motivation. It also can bring us into a tailspin of depression or difficulty. And so, in my mind, your concentration is the key to your success.
Oh, so good. Yes. So good. So good. I must ask one more question to wrap it up. We have a nice doggy in the car with us that we need to drop off, and it's cute because sometimes I'll look back and he'll have his face in the dog food while we've been talking, and then he'll look up at me and then try to put his face back in the dog food, but the bag's bent enough that I don't think he can actually eat any of it.
Yeah.
But he really wants to eat it.
He's like, I'm hungry.
Yeah, he's like, I'm living in the moment. I'm hungry. So I shared an article about you teaching to first responders and other people in our community with PTSD. Can you share with us how that class may be different for anyone that's new to trying maybe a trauma-sensitive class in that way, what they can expect?
So they can expect definitely a little bit more demonstration on my part, as well as cues to, especially if you're new to yoga, right? Mm-hmm. If there's a lot of people who are new to yoga, I'm going to give you a lot more cues to make you understand the poses, what your body generally should be, because we all know that bodies are wildly different.
Yes.
But also it's meant to be in the moment. So it's all about being present with your breath, feeling your feet on the floor, understanding what muscles are used, what muscles are stretched. It's really just bringing you into the present space and into your own awareness of where that might be.
That's perfect. I think anyone that experiences anxiety even or PTSD, anything like that, like just to kind of like be in a class where you get a break from all the thoughts and the worries to really just breathe and feel your body, like that's such a gift.
Yeah, it's like bringing these people who are stuck in a past experience back into the direct feeling of their physical body, right? It's no longer that their mind is I want to say pulled into that quicksand and deep down into that thought of trauma, of difficulty. But now you're here in the moment, and what is in your body? What do you feel?
So beautiful. Well, we're going to wrap this up. But then I think we should record the next one about chakras and other things that you love to talk about.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll come back and talk about that.